I'm Gary Martin Hayes, and on this segment of my TV show, we will talk about what to do after an on-the-job knee injury. And please stay tuned for great resources at the end of this video. Good morning. Thanks for starting your day here with us on Atlanta CW. Let's get right to a question now from one of our viewers. Gary, I have a question about an on-the-job injury. I was carrying some tools from my truck to an air conditioning unit I needed to repair. I stepped off of the driveway at the person's home onto some loose gravel and lost my balance. My left knee gave way on me and I twisted it pretty badly when I landed on it. I got up and finished the repair. When I made it back to the truck, my left knee was very swollen and it was throbbing. I called my boss and he told me to go to the emergency room. The ER doctor then suggested I follow up with an orthopedist. The workers' comp adjuster sent me to an orthopedist and my MRI shows I have a torn ACL. They want me to do surgery on my knee next week, but I have a couple of questions. One, can I get a second opinion before I have the surgery? And two, what happens if I don't want to have the surgery? And that comes to us from James in Hiram. James, thanks for the email. I'm very sorry to hear about the accident and your knee injury. And let's address your first question. Can you get a second opinion before you have the surgery? The answer is it depends. And let me explain what I mean by that. Georgia law allows you to have a second opinion with a doctor of your choice, and the insurance company has to pay for it if you've received workers' compensation wage checks within the last 120 days. So if you are receiving workers' comp checks, this is one option for a second opinion. Another thing I'd like to review, though, is the employer's panel of physicians. By law, your employer has to post a pink panel of physicians at your job, and most employers put it by the time clock. This panel is essentially a list of doctors from which an injured worker can select the physician of their choice to provide treatment to them. And you indicated the adjuster was the one that sent you to an orthopedist. I'd want to know who this orthopedist is and whether or not the orthopedist is in fact a surgeon. Don't get me wrong, there are great doctors out there and many of them are actually on some of these panel physicians. However, there are some doctors I would completely steer clear of because of their reputation, their bedside manner, or they are notoriously insurance company hacks. Well, let's get back to this panel. By law, the panel has to have at least 6 physicians listed on it. Of the 6, 1 has to be an orthopedic surgeon, and no more than 2 of the 6 can be an occupational clinic. If the panel does not have 6 doctors on it, or an orthopedic surgeon, or it is invalid for any other reason, then you may be free to select the physician of your choice to become your authorized treating physician. And you also wrote the adjuster was the one that selected the orthopedist. Did you have any input into this doctor? If not, then we could argue that this is not your authorized treating physician since you were not the one that chose the doctor. And James, you can see there are potentially several different options that may be available to you. I would really love to speak with you to learn more facts about you, about your claim, so I can offer better solutions that may be more appropriate for you. Now let's look at your second question. What happens if I don't want to have the surgery? Well, James, I would like for you to know, well, first of all, the reasons why you would not want to have the surgery. If it's because you don't like the doctor you're seeing, then as we discussed, there are several options available to you, and that could address that worry. We could file for a change of physicians with a state board and get the adjuster to agree to a new surgeon if that is something that you'd like to do. Sometimes our clients want to have the surgery. They're just not sure that the specific surgical procedure that the doctor is recommending is really appropriate for them. And this is certainly a question that can be addressed in a second opinion. Now, there have been occasions where our clients had pre-existing medical conditions which may make a surgery risky. They could have a heart condition. Others have had pre-existing conditions which could complicate the recovery from surgery, such as diabetes. Please know this, no one can force you to undergo a surgery if you don't want to have it. But let me tell you what I suggest to my clients when this issue comes up. And please understand, this assumes you are happy with the surgeon, you have confidence in him or her, and you don't know if you want to have the surgery. I would recommend you schedule an appointment with the doctor to discuss the proposed surgery in greater detail and ask the doctor the following questions. 1, describe for me what will be done in the procedure. 2, what are the potential risks during the procedure? 3, what are the potential risks during the recovery process? 4, what can I expect if the procedure and the recovery goes as planned? And number 5, and this is very important, what are the potential risks in the event I do not have the procedure? And I think the last question is really important. James, what could happen to you, to your knee, in the event you don't have the torn ACL repaired? Will you eventually need to have the surgery? And if so, who's going to pay for it down the road, especially if you settle your workers' compensation claim? And these are questions I would want to discuss with James. What kind of work are you capable of doing if you don't have the surgery? Do you want to return to work with the same employer? Do you want to try and just settle your claim? James, the most important advice I can give you regarding your workers' compensation claim is this. Please do not do anything on your workers' compensation claim until you speak with an attorney and one that specializes in workers' compensation cases. Do not talk with the insurance company. Do not tell them or your doctor you don't want to have surgery. Don't take any action until you have the chance to speak with an attorney to discuss all of your rights and learn all of the insurance company's responsibilities. Now, I know this is a lot of information with any legal claim. I encourage you to talk with someone that specializes in this area of the law. We'd be more than happy to talk with you. Our phone number, 770-934-8000. It's confidential. The consultation is free. And we'll be right back.